Mike, can Doritos liquor save the alcohol industry?
No.
Well, we're going to dig into exactly why not a bit later, but first...
Do we really have to? Does it require explanation?
Diligent research must be done.
Oh.
And we will do it.
Oh, I'm a little sick already.
First, the booze news. In beer news, we have some shakeups. The owners of Guinness, Diageo, are shaking up their C-suite. The Great Lakes CEO has stepped down. The Brewdog CEO, James Watt, the embroiled CEO, James Watt of Brewdog, has stepped down. Mike, is there anything tying these all together?
Yeah, lots of financial failure.
That does seem to be the case.
Yes.
Now, the Brewdog CEO, that's probably not entirely due to impending financial doom.
That one's been a whole... I mean, we like to shit on Brewdog, and we're going to continue to do so, I think, regardless of what they do. Because they have this... They're pretty douchey as a corporation. They've got this story of, like, the founder that was just forced out, starts this brewery in a shed in Scotland and whatever, and their whole, their tagline is they're punk as fuck, but they're very corporate and...
The opposite of punk.
The opposite of punk, but beyond that, they're simultaneously very corporate, but also apparently have this very sort of toxic culture at the top.
Yeah, toxic workplace, a lot of abuse, stolen ideas from potential new hires is what I've read.
Yeah, that was even a thing that locally.
Yes,
we had. Yes, there was some IP theft that occurred here locally that we've heard about. Allegedly,
the CEO may or may not be a sexual predator. I mean, there's a lot of bad stuff floating around about him and this guy. So that was not surprising. Coupled with the fact that craft beer is doing terrible, and I'm sure as a result, they're getting ready to not do great. They needed to shake it up. Now, Great Lakes, on the other hand, has actually been doing pretty well, so I was surprised that their CEO stepped down. And then the Diageo one makes sense, too, because they actually have quite the issues with their stock right now.
25% year-to-date down. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Which, you know what I like, though, about the Brewdog thing?
What?
My favorite part of that story is that that guy, the former CEO, he blames all of his assholishness. He says, "Well, I'm on the spectrum. I have Asperger's and ADHD. I just got diagnosed last week, so it bootstraps. It explains all my assholish behavior from before.
It's not my fault.
Yeah, it's not my fault. It's not even I'm sorry for being a dick." We're very big on apologies now. You got to be sorry for everything. A 15-minute, tearful apology. Now that's apparently replaced just with I'm on the spectrum. What are you going to do? It's just a complete asshole get out of jail free card.
I'm having trouble coming up with any jokes that wouldn't be insensitive, but yeah, it is a spat of CEOs claiming they have disabilities to get out of jail free, which is kind of bullshit in and of itself.
Yeah.
Now, the Diageo stock being down 25% year over year is a huge deal. We're talking it's almost 5-year low. We're talking it's almost as low as it was during COVID. So we're going to jump ahead to the end of the show where we talk stock tips.
It was great during COVID.
When COVID first happened, when everything fucking bottomed out, they bottomed out and then they rose back up, and then 23 or something, they hit all-time highs of 22.
Did you go through that COVID thing where I absolutely did, where for initially, I was oh shit, I gotta be really healthy. So I was eating better, I was working out, I was losing weight. Then a couple months in, you just lapsed into might as well get drunk.
My life didn't change one iota during COVID.
Yeah.
So, if anything, it just got better, which is weird. But my life was great. Didn't have to do forced any bullshit parties. Didn't have to do family gatherings. Didn't have to do anything on the weekends I didn't want. I still got to go into work every day. I still get to see the same people. It was great. My life was good.
About the first 6 months of COVID, not to digress into this, but I loved it. It was post-apocalyptic. There was nobody on the roads.
Oh yeah, it was super quiet at night.
Yeah,
it was nice.
Oh god, yeah, I'm kind of nostalgic for it. I can't. Well, we're gonna and that was the thing. COVID got so politicized that we didn't learn anything about it. So we got this bird flu about to hit. So, I mean, we can do it all over again.
Let's run it back. I need some more PPP money.
Except more deadly.
Mike, maybe you can apply for PPP money this year.
Yeah, maybe I'll have an accountant that's competent enough to give me PPP money this time.
If we don't really need to talk more beer, but we got a couple more stories, so we'll come back if there's time at the end. But there's some interesting tidbits about the South and Molson Coors updates as well that we can cover. But for now, it doesn't matter. We're going to move on to wine. Now, the wine news is combined with the cannabis news this week. The wine industry, as we've talked about a lot, is doing terribly. Partly because the California wine industry is bloated and wine costs way too much money, and rich people are coming in and driving it up thinking they can run a winery, and they can't.
Doing that with a lot.
Yeah, with cannabis.
Real estate prices, wine, I mean...
The rich
are fucking up the world.
They really are. So what's happening with wine that's interesting is that rather than redirecting their ire inwards, they're redirecting it at the cannabis industry. And winery owners are saying, cannabis is too cheap. Someone can get high for 90 cents where it costs, $50 for a bottle of my wine, and you may or may not even get drunk off of it. So, there's a problem. Then the wine distributors are basically saying, if we're going to do cannabis, it's got to have a 3-tier system because that protects the consumer. And we got to protect people at all costs.
It protects the middleman. It protects the profit margin of the middleman.
It's definitely not because we want to make 30% off of every fucking gram of weed sold. It's because we want to protect you dumbass.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want to protect you by making things unnecessarily expensive by factoring in a profit margin that makes no sense to anybody. Except the person making the profit.
I do think it's an interesting point that getting high on cannabis is the value way to get unsober right now. That. Yeah. That's an interesting point, but I don't think the takeaway is make cannabis more expensive. It's make your wine less expensive.
Well, it's make your wine less expensive. B, it's what are you talking about? You're not turning people on to wine. Early craft beer.
That's a good point.
And one of the problems with craft beer is that it's lost its way. It's kind of lost its religion in the craft beer sense, not the religion sense.
Which we talked about last episode. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. Check it on our YouTube channel.
But those early people were educating their consumer. And wine, I think, has just gone from, it's been snobbery, and then younger generations were just like, well, fuck it. I'm not interested in it. And
I don't want to jump these fucking hoops that you're setting up.
Yeah, so they're not making an appreciation of wine an approachable thing. And if you're concerned about the fact that there's a cheaper way to get wasted, well, no shit. I mean, there always has been. It's not about nobody's buying a $50 bottle of wine to get wasted.
That's a great point. There is cheap liquor, there's cheap wine, there's cheap beer out there. If it is solely about a cheap high, you're right. It isn't about that.
I used to buy Night Train wine by the case.
Oh my god,
it was like $2 a bottle.
Jesus Christ!
I mean, it was disgusting, but it would get you drunk, man.
You were running a train on yourself, man.
Absolutely. There's a reason why Guns N' Roses had a song about it. Mr. Brownstone and Night Train.
Oh my god!
Good God, both very dangerous.
Yeah, those are good points. No, that's a great point. The wine industry needs to look inward rather than looking outward. Blasting cannabis into the next stratosphere of expense and price isn't going to solve anything.
No. Actually, it's just going to make... That's one of the issues with several of these states that have overtaxed marijuana in the legalization process, California being one of them, Illinois being another one. I mean, Illinois, I'll stop at a dispensary when I drive across Illinois, but the weed is really expensive because they're taxing the absolute hell out of it, which is why in states like Illinois and California, the majority of your weed sales are still illegal black market.
Wow.
Because the taxes make the legal variety
There's
ridiculous.
still enough profit margin left on that vine for the black market to exist, which is insane. Because that requires a whole network of people that all need a cut. But it's still cheaper than the cut that Uncle Sam is trying to make.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, it's more the states, but yes.
Well, yeah, okay.
Uncle Sam's still calling it illegal. No
That's
longer a Schedule I narcotic, but still illegal.
In spirit news, Bourbon is softening. We've talked about this a little bit before too, but the first actual physical signs of bourbon softening is happening. So if you're keeping...
Stop being a pussy, bourbon.
What does this mean? I was going to say, if you're holding expensive bottles of wine trying to flip them, you better sell them quick.
Bourbon.
Bourbon, thank you. Yes. If you're holding expensive bottles of bourbon, now's the time to sell them, or just drink them like you should.
Right. But why are you hoarding liquor?
It doesn't make sense to me.
No.
It should be drank. So if you are holding it to sell it, I think you need to sell now. Heaven Hill Distillery has taken the first shot at making financial adjustments for the softening bourbon market. They're letting go a lot of workers in the distill and the rick houses, and they have removed all new hiring job applications off their website and are basically tightening the ship. Brown-Forman CEO has been echoing similar sentiments to investors, basically saying sales are softening, our projections maybe are going to be a little weak, basically trying to soften the blow so their stock doesn't take a major hit. Right. But we're seeing the signs that the bourbon bottom is starting to fall out, which means 5 to 10 years from now, we're going to have a glut of really good, cheap bourbon, which is great.
Nice. So either sell it or just continue to like covet it and pet your bottle of Pappy and, you know, get all fetishistic about it, whatever you want to do.
I was just going to ask you if petting your bottle of Pappy is a metaphor for something.
Yes. It's what we do in Kentucky.
Well, speaking of Kentucky favorite restaurants, Texas Roadhouse actually doing really goddamn well.
They're a Louisville company, aren't they?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Which is crazy that they're doing so well. But to me, it just says that people want luxuries, but they just want them cheaply. And Texas Roadhouse is actually investing even more money in new chains. They've launched, 10 years ago, they launched Bubba 33s, which is a pizza, burger, sports bar, and Jaggers.
Just sounds awful, but...
all of it. But they're doing well, and I think that just says people want steak, they want nice things, they just don't want to pay a lot of money. And is it going to be a return of TGI Fridays? Is Applebee's back? Is Texas Roadhouse and Longhorn Steakhouse about to kill it? Or are they going to keep killing it?
Applebee's never left in my heart, Brett.
Well,
I don't know where is that? I remember going to TGI Fridays as a kid. It was a really big, it was a very exciting thing. You know, that was a long time ago. But
yeah, Friday Applebee's used to be my family tradition too.
I think that level of dining experience probably going to do well because it is it's really kind of the new fine dining for a whole lot of the country because the prices are escalating beyond wage growth. And
have you seen the price of a goddamn steak at Kroger?
Oh, it's crazy.
It's absolutely and it's not even good meat. It's crazy.
Yeah, to even grill your own steak is just crazy talk.
How can it be just like $5 less than a restaurant to grill your own steak? It's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, and which probably means that profit margins in restaurants, I mean, that's part of why they have to extort so much money on wine costs and drink costs and things like that. I mean, they can't be making a very big profit margin on beef in particular.
No,
and there's several, I don't remember the complexities of exactly what all happened with beef, but there are several things that have driven that market. There's a problem with the beef market, but I don't...
Some bird flu?
No, that's different, but that's coming next. Yeah. We are teeing up for the bird flu, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Yet somehow there's going to be record profits coming from Tyson, I'm sure.
Oh, Tyson's going to be the one that gives it to us.
Mike, we wrote a book?
We did write a book. It's pretty good, too, actually.
It is pretty damn good.
It's called Tank Cincinnati. And even if you don't give a rat's fat ass about Cincinnati breweries, the stories that we have accumulated in this book are really universal. I mean, if you're from here and you've heard some of these places, then cool, but it really doesn't matter.
No, it transcends the location. And hell, even if you don't have any care about Cincinnati, but you want to support us, buying the book is a great way to do that. And any copy bought through the link below, we'll sign, get it shipped out to you, and Yeah, it really helps go a long way. And
please buy it below. We actually make a couple of dollars for having spent a lot of time writing a book, as opposed to if you buy it on Amazon, where we make approximately 3 cents.
And if you really have to buy it on Amazon, head on over to our good friend of ours, the Gnarly Gnome, and his website, and buy it through his affiliate link. But really, you should be buying it right down below. Now, Mike.
Brett?
I have a theory that Doritos liquor is going to save the alcohol industry. Do you buy it? Are you buying Doritos liquor as a thing? Is this telling of what has become of the alcohol industry of America? Is this craft? Is this a good experience? Are you about to enjoy the shot I'm about to pour you?
There are 3 things that terrify me at this moment.
Oh, okay. We got you. Our producer Dan is also needing a shot.
Okay, so there's now 4 things that terrify me. Number 1, that I'm about to have to drink this piss. Number 2, that you have drank 90% of the bottle. And in addition, that Dan comes out from behind the curtain for this.
Doritos liquor.
Oh, it smells like kerosene. I always find that great.
It smells like a Dorito burp.
With kerosene.
Now, obviously, this is a...
fucking disgusting is what that is. How did you drink that much of this? What did you do with this? How drunk were you when you started? Oh my God, that's awful. Oh.
It tastes like Doritos.
No, it doesn't. It really just tastes like kerosene. It tastes just like it smells, except there's an aftertaste. There's like a Dorito.
It tastes like a Dorito burp to me. Like if you eat a bunch of Doritos and then you burp an hour later, this is what it tastes like.
Oh my God. Do we have some of that Eggo shit to take that out of my mouth? For God's sake, that's awful.
See, what I don't like about this is that 1, this is expensive, and 2, this is positioning itself as something that took craft and skill to make. When Doritos is industrialized food to the maximum, and you making a uncategorized spirit with the Doritos, like there's nothing. Why would this attract any generation besides those who have nostalgia boner for Doritos? What about this is doing benefit for the alcohol industry?
It is doing detriment in every single possible way. First of all, by being foul. And I will defend the fact there has to be a certain amount of craft in it, because I have been piss drunk on well liquor a gazillion times in life. And I don't know that I've ever put a liquor in my mouth that's that foul. So there was skill that went into making the absolute worst tasting thing that I've ever had. But it goes back to the wine thing, right? That like, we make fun of paying obscene amounts of money for bourbon, and we're not going to stop. But bourbon is a nice liquor. You know, I think that for the value in this country right now, Scotch is preferable. I kind of like the smokiness of a nice peaty Scotch.
I do too.
But there is a culture to that, and there is a growing and learning of your palate and the nuances of that liquor. And that cultural aspect to it and that knowledge, and the more you know about it, the more you appreciate it, that's what really kind of feeds those things generation to generation. And when you do this shit, it's not like this just, started. I mean, they've been making stupid schnapps were a thing, and then it was another thing, and whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
But when you're dumbing when you're dumbing things down to that point, if you're calling this a craft spirit, then just stop. I mean, make actual good quality spirits if you're gonna get into that niche.
Yeah, I don't understand. Aside from shock value and getting rubes like myself to buy it and spend,
and drink the shit out of it.
I mean, that was like a $55 bottle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh
ridiculous.
My God.
Yeah, so I don't understand. Like when the alcohol industry is like, things are so terrible, everything's going bad, no one wants to engage in alcohol anymore, no one's going out drinking. When the new experiences that are being brought to the table, the new experiences that are being sold was this. I mean, what the fuck do you even do with something like this? And obviously, this is a little bit on the extreme. You're not going out to your local dive bar and finding this sitting there actively, but you're not going to your local dive bar and seeing good, new quality products being pushed that require a little bit of education or innovation.
Yeah.
You're seeing truly fucking seltzers. You're seeing goddamn Doritos liquor. You're seeing things that are designed to engage.
Or even there is that smart financial area where I think Narragansett fits into, and where I don't really even know what is a good, cheap, well bourbon now because I don't drink a lot of it. But like Echo Springs, used to be a pretty solid, like, well bourbon. It wasn't the best bourbon you'd ever had,
Sure.
but it was good. And there were 3 or 4 that were like that. Some wells were just terrible.
Yeah.
Some were nice and they were pretty good value.
Granddad,
actually.
yeah, all that shit.
Yeah, Granddad is another one. Good example. So I don't know where this fits in because it's obscenely expensive and it's disgusting and it's dumb. There's no cultural aspect to it. Right.
What are you building that's going to have a lasting relationship with the consumer?
Yeah, I will take some credit for this one, some blame for this one, because that is probably a Gen X thing. Most of what's wrong with society today we can blame on boomers, with Gen Z really, trying to do their part to fuck things up. But that's a Gen X thing right there. That's BS. That's like why Stranger Things is on season 5 or whatever.
On a philosophical level, I'm just really disappointed that coming out of America, which actually I think empirical is not even based in America, but coming out of America, we're not, like, Guinness just won best pint in the UK, and it's 200 years old.
Yeah. Well,
what in America are we building as far as our alcohol culture that we're going to be proud of 200 years from now? It ain't going to be fucking Budweiser or Bud Light.
No, it could be the bourbon. It could be the California
bourbon
wines,
as a
the
whole.
Virginia
I
wines,
could see bourbon as a whole working. But is there what alcohol brand just says America to you that you want to get behind for 200 years? What is leaving a lasting impact? What's positively impacting alcohol consumption in America now in a positive way? I mean, like, to me, it's all just gimmickry and bullshit and like this maximalist thing that's happening in cities right now with cocktails, where it's how many ingredients can I stuff into this fucking $25 abomination? Like, it's just, we're in such a weird spot that I just burn it all down and let's rebuild. Because, like, do we need another Prohibition? That's what I'm saying. Is it time for Prohibition Part 2, Electric Boogaloo? Like, fuck me. Because, like, I don't know. This is the wrong thing.
We are in a period where just, like, excess seems to be the... excess seems to have its own value, and it just doesn't.
Okay, so we're in the Gilded Age right now. The new Gilded Age.
Well, we are definitely in the Gilded Age 2.0 for all kinds of reasons. And yeah, maybe that's part of it. It's just... it's proven that I can spend $55 on a bottle of shitty Doritos.
Well, I feel worse about my whole life and every decision that's led to me to this point, at this point in time. So.
As you should. Philosophically, what disappoints me is philosophically.
Oh my God.
Just all of it.
See you guys next week. Oh, shit. Well, we're going to be remote next week, but we will be here. Just wanted you guys to know I'll be in the wonderful cultural blossoming haven that is Florida. I will be there. Mike will be here. We will be in your YouTube TV screen next week, as always.
Love you, bitches.
Cheers.